John Wick 3. What'd you think, Adam? Out of 10, what do you give it?
It's an 8.
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at.
It's an 8.
It's literally where I'm at.
Here's the thing. John Wick 3 gave me absolutely everything that I needed John Wick 3 to be from an action standpoint. And it gave me, but the trade-off for that, and it actually gave me even more than I needed.
Yeah,
it went above where I was at for action.
Mm-hmm.
I could have clawed back a little bit of that and given me a little bit more story. Now there is story in the movie. It just that it's similar to the first movie in terms of a lot of the story that you get is second, what I would call like second hand or like story by osmosis.
Yeah.
You absorb the story by watching the action.
Yeah.
Like you get the story by the actions of everyone involved.
Yeah.
Like you get backstory of John Wick in the first movie by scenes like the guy who calls up at the chop shop, "Why'd you punch my son?" He jacked John Wick's car and killed his dog, and then he just responds with, "Oh," and then hangs up the phone. That tells you everything you need to know about John fucking Wick, and then he follows that up with the killed like 5 dudes with a pencil.
Yes.
A fucking pencil.
Yeah.
That's the kind of story that you got, which was cool, but you also got little other tidbits in the first couple of movies. And this one,
the second movie was a ton of world building.
A lot more world building because they introduced a lot of characters, right?
Yeah, and they talked a lot more about how the Continentals work and the whole coin system.
Which roped me in. That shit's
I love that shit. And then the third one came, and it was like what you said. It was
pure action.
It was all action, and it just kind of. It wasn't even a half between number 1 and 2 in terms of story.
No.
It was literally...
It was 90-10 split.
Yeah, if that. I mean, there was quite literally no story. I mean, it picks up exactly where number 2 left off, which is what you want.
You get some of it again by osmosis. It's like
they introduce a couple of new characters, and then their story about those characters and sort of what they do, and then...
Yes.
That's
about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's about it.
Yeah.
So that's where it loses the points for me.
Yes, and that's the only 2 points that it loses.
The other thing that I found with this one that I had some time to think about it because the action was incredible. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the action's crazy. Especially the opening act in the library. Nuts. Nuts.
You know what got me about this movie's action? And I said this to you when we were sitting in the theater watching it. I said, bro, they're not even playing music during these scenes.
No.
You're hearing the room sound.
Yes.
If you listen closely enough, you might hear a cameraman cough.
Yes.
In these scenes. They are doing nothing but these long one cut
fight scenes. Yeah.
Where it's nothing but the fight being showcased. No sound effects really other than like the obvious like ones that you have to do to make it more punchy.
Yeah.
No music, no nothing. You just get a bunch of dudes doing some crazy shit.
Yep.
With nothing behind it. And that's what tells you they're confident as fuck. And it should be.
It is. And that was great. So beyond the story, which you know what? I was okay with it because let's be real. We go to John Wick for the action. So I was okay with that. I would have loved a little bit more story just because I think the world is so intriguing. And
that's just why I want to see it.
And it's like it's almost like if the Matrix no longer had any story and it was just Matrix-y cool shit, it's like I could still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the world is so crazy that you could do so much with it, and that's what I wanted more of John Wick. So it was a bit of a letdown there.
Yeah.
The other thing was that I did notice is in this one, I found there was a little bit too many flips, grabbing people and throwing people.
What, judo?
Yeah, like it was just I felt like everything was like flipping somebody over whatever, and that's fine. But what I also did, and I hate the fact that I do this in movies, but I do, is when they got flipped over, sometimes this happened maybe 3 or 4 times in the movie, and there's tons of flips, so 3 or 4 times is really not that much.
Yeah.
I kept my eye on the guy that was on the ground, and you could tell that he was, as the actor, he was either overacting him being hurt on the ground, or he was just kind of like kind of pausing
Well,
and
you'll
letting
see-
the action kind
well-
of do it
well,
and waiting
you'll
for his
even-
cue to
yeah.
get back up or whatever.
You'll even see Keanu
Yes.
in spots with these really, and I mean fucking
Long. Yeah.
fight scenes.
Yeah.
Get in spots where he's fighting like multiple guys.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to escape this,
Yeah.
especially because they're doing these wide angle, no jump cuts, no
Yeah.
shaky cam. You
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
no music,
No, dude.
nothing.
No, dude, it's
So you'll catch occasionally
Yeah.
Keanu look for where he knows the next hit is coming and stuff, right?
It's choreographed.
It's
so he
choreographed.
he's
So
like,
he
shit,
know-
I need to be, and he's trying
He
to act
knows.
at the same time.
Yeah.
And you can see him processing that, but it's very
Exactly.
faint. It
Oh, it's
doesn't happen
faint.
often.
It doesn't ruin anything.
It doesn't ruin anything,
What
but
it
I
does
do
mean-
notice. I
You
did
do
notice it because because the action's so, like you said, it's so focused. There's so minimal cuts.
Yeah.
That you're literally taking it all in. I mean, it's like having a naked body.
Yeah.
and
You got nothing to hide.
You have nothing to hide, and you're leaving the lights on.
Exactly.
You see everything that's going on, and you know if you're insecure about your body, you turn the lights off, and then you have more confidence. You do it because the imperfections
Yes.
are
Hidden.
hidden. Here, there's no hiding those.
No.
And there isn't many of them, so that's kudos to them. But when they are there, I do notice them.
Yeah.
It doesn't take me out of the movie at all, but it's like,
It does for me. For me, I noticed something. Like again, didn't pull me out.
yeah,
It did. It for me in a weird way. It just kind of made me appreciate what,
Yes,
they're,
what
doing
they're doing.
even more.
Yeah.
Because now you're really seeing them in the process, and the amount of heads like Keanu Reeves was in his 50s.
yeah.
Was he 54 or 51? Somewhere
He's
in
in
there.
his 50s.
And he doesn't do his stunts, but he does every piece of fucking action
Yes.
in that movie.
Yeah, he even did some stunts.
And he does
He
some
did like
stunts.
a lot of the horse stuff,
Right.
Like all kinds of shit he's done.
But
It's crazy. It's crazy.
you just
it's
see
insane.
like how much is going on in his head in all of these scenes, and so to just see like it adds. It almost makes it more, and John Wick, you could arguably, it's gotten much bigger now, but when the first movie came out, it took word of mouth to get it going because it didn't really blow up in the box office.
Yeah.
Is that John Wick is approaching more of like an art house action franchise
Yeah.
than a traditional action franchise,
Yeah,
right?
it's like The Raid.
Yeah,
That's
so
what it is.
So
It's-
it makes it even feel more like that and
Yeah.
just more impressive. And so, but again, you don't get as much story, which only disappointed me because I'm so interested in this
I know,
because
me
they did
too.
such a goddamn good job.
Me too.
Of building the world.
I would love to. I honestly, I prefer. And they just did announce John Wick 4. They announced that like 2 days ago. It's
Yes.
coming out in 2020.
I think we're going to get the story closer to John Wick 2 in John Wick 4.
I hope so.
Yeah.
What I would love to see for John Wick, honestly, I would have just loved it if Keanu said, fuck it, let's take this to the small screen. Let's get a Netflix series or let's go on HBO.
Well, don't they already have a TV
They are
series
working
of
on
some
something,
sort?
but I don't think Keanu's going to be part of it. I think they're going to start. It's going to be in the world of
that might
which I
make
might be
it
okay.
better.
It might make it better, but I feel like because these movies are relatively small budget films as well. Like
Yes, they're not huge money on them.
No, there's like really no CGI. It's like practical. Vast majority of it's
Practical
all
effects.
practical shit.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's no green screens.
No.
It's the real sets, real thing. I think this format, if they're going to get crazy with the action, I think in the format of a TV show would be great because they could have like 10 hours to really, like you could have an amazing action sequence or two in an hour span, but also have story building.
Well, you have so much more space for the story
Exactly,
building, right?
because in a movie, you still want to throw popcorn in your mouth. You want to see it
Yeah,
all
of
on the big
course.
screen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also don't think that John Wick needs to be watched on a big screen because it's not
No.
a theatrical.
No.
It's not a big block. It is huge now. I mean, it's a big franchise now. But
Yeah.
in terms of like, I have to see it on the big screen.
It doesn't need to be, no.
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 I mean, if you've got a nice 55-inch, 65-inch TV at home,
You damn near anything. You're going to appreciate John Wick no matter what you're watching
Yes,
on.
yes.
You're watching your fucking phone.
Yes.
You're going to appreciate the shit.
but overall, it was great. I thought the action was better in this one than it was number 2. Number 1 is still the best. Number 2 is the best for stories. And number 3 is just the best for action, like just straight up all action, nutty. It was almost like, and it was riding that line of becoming monotonous because there was so much action and it felt
Well,
like
it stayed up here.
yeah, and
You
every
always run
scene,
that risk,
It
right?
was like a video game where John Wick would go into a place and it would be a scene. He'd defeat the boss or whatever.
Well, you could tell whenever they entered a new area.
Yes, you know shit was going. It was a new set piece.
It was like when they sat down to do 3, they thought, all right, we need to do, if we were to go into this building, how would a fight play out here? And then they choreographed it and did it. And then they go, all right, but what if we included some horses?
Yes.
Okay, well, this is what would happen.
Yeah.
All right, well, what if he was on a motorbike because Keanu likes to ride bikes?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is what would happen.
And it felt like, that's exactly what it is. And it felt like, since there was no story, John Wick never really had to be anywhere except for like one or two spots in the movie where the story was kind of leading him to go to these places.
Well, the movie was him getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, other than that, it was like him fighting in a library, going outside, fighting outside, getting fucked up, going into a building.
The last 30 minutes of that movie,
it was madness. Bro.
It
was just fucking madness, bro.
Insane.
It was just madness,
and so perfect, so self-aware.
Yeah,
in such a perfect fucking way. Yeah. It was so satisfying.
Dude, Halle Berry. I don't even really like Halle Berry, and I thought I thought she did great in the movie.
I actually really don't like Halle Berry, and it's not for any other reason than it's just one of those people that when I've watched her in movies, I have nothing against her.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't even like her. It's just somebody who, when she's in a movie, I immediately go, eh. So when I found out she was in this, I was like, God damn it! Yeah. Don't do this to me in John Wick. And I didn't hate it. I think she did very well. The only thing was you could it was a stark contrast in Keanu's abilities in the hand-to-hand combat and Halle Berry's capabilities in hand-to-hand combat, and they whether it was intentional or not, obviously they made up for that a bit by making her the dog master and whatnot, and so that was cool to see. There was some funny shit that went down there.
There was some good stuff there.
But that was like, for me, when
I also found that scene. Felt like a set. So I didn't. That took me out of the movie a bit, where I literally thought I was watching. It felt
smaller than it should have.
It felt very small. It literally felt like I was on the set watching them film John Wick, opposed to me being in the movie.
Yeah.
It felt really not amateur.
Yeah.
But it felt very amateur.
Well, and it was because they had to work around the dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
So
there was some. That was probably one of. It was like the coolest scene, but the weakest scene.
Yes.
In the movie, but it was. What they did was
great.
It was amazing.
It was great.
But I was in the back of my mind. I knew what they were doing. I was more impressed with the show. It was like watching theater.
Yes.
Where you're watching a theater performance. You know you're at a theater and you're watching these actors act. And it's not cinematic, but you're in wow by what they're doing.
Yes.
That you're still loving what they're doing, even though you know you're watching theater.
Yes.
It was like that's what that was.
Yes.
For that specific scene.
So it was. It's a good movie.
Go see it.
Go
8 out of
fucking
10.
see John Wick.
If you love the other John Wicks, you're gonna love the action.
If you're somebody who is more leaning into the action of John Wick and don't really care about the story, then it's going to likely be a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Because for us, it's only an 8 out of 10 because we just want to see more story. And I think, given what you see at the end, that 4 is going to be a bit more.
I hope so.
Story heavy.
I hope so.
Because I think we're going to get more of who in that next movie, and so
absolutely.
I think, and I'm excited for that because any more interaction between those two is a thumbs up.
It was good
for me.
It's great movie.
Yeah.